Scorpio's ideal pair is the truth that nobody tells. There's one sign that loves in a way few can truly understand. A sign that knows no middle ground, that doesn't know how to love halfway. When Scorpio enters your life, it's not just a passion being born. It's a complete rebirth. But here's the secret nobody tells you. Scorpio's ideal match isn't the one who completes them. It's the one who survives the intensity of their love. And today, you're going to discover who that brave soul is, courageous enough to dive into the Zodiac's deepest abyss. Get ready, because this truth will shake everything you believed about love. Scorpio is not just any sign. They are the living enigma of the Zodiac, the shadow everyone fears but secretly wishes to understand. Ruled by Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, Scorpio carries within them an ancestral power, a force that transforms everything it touches. They're not here to live on the surface of things. Scorpio was born to descend into the underworld of the human soul, to unveil the darkest secrets, to touch what no one dares to touch. When Scorpio feels, they feel with every cell of their body. There is no lukewarmness in this sign's heart. It's all or nothing, pleasure or pain, heaven or hell. They don't know the middle territory, because for them, living without intensity is like not living at all. And when it comes to love, Scorpio throws themselves in head first, without a safety net, without fear of shattering on the ground. But there's a detail few notice. Before loving, Scorpio needs to trust, and trusting, for them, is the most difficult act in the universe. Because Scorpio has been betrayed before, has been wounded, has felt the blade of disillusionment cut too deep. That's why they don't surrender to just anyone. They observe in silence, analyze every gesture, every word, every breath. They test you, without you realizing it. And only when they're absolutely certain that you're real, that your soul is pure, do they finally open the doors to their inner kingdom. And when Scorpio loves, my friend, the whole world disappears. There's no more past, no more future. Only that moment exists, that person, that connection that seems to come from other lifetimes. Scorpio loves with a faithfulness that goes beyond the body. They demand loyalty of the soul, faithfulness in thoughts, truth in intentions. For them, betrayal isn't just a physical act. It's any lie that breaks the sacred pact you've made. But here's the big question. Who can keep up with this intensity? Who has the courage to look Scorpio in the eyes and not look away when they decide to reveal their deepest wounds? Who is strong enough to stay when the fire turns to ash, when passion transforms into heavy silence, when Scorpio dives into their own shadows? Scorpio's ideal match isn't the one who admires them from afar. It's not the one who's only enchanted by their magnetic aura. The ideal match is the one who has the courage to enter the emotional labyrinth and doesn't run away when the walls start closing in. It's the one who understands that loving Scorpio means accepting constant metamorphosis, because Scorpio is not the same today and tomorrow. They die and are reborn with each cycle, each pain, each conquest. And if you think you know Scorpio, know that you've only seen the tip of the iceberg. What lies beneath the surface is so immense, so deep, so frighteningly beautiful, that few have the honor of knowing it. Scorpio guards their treasures in the depths, and only those who dive with them, without fear of drowning, discover that all this mystery hides the most loyal, most protective, and most passionate heart in the entire Zodiac. What does Scorpio truly seek in love? That's the question that intrigues the entire Zodiac. Because unlike other signs, Scorpio doesn't just want someone to share life with. They want complete fusion. They want to touch your soul while you touch theirs. They want to feel that when you look at each other, time literally stops, and the rest of the world ceases to exist. Scorpio doesn't settle for superficial kisses, shallow conversations, empty promises. They want raw, naked truth. They want all of you, without masks, without filters, without fears. But here's the secret few understand. Scorpio loves in silence. While everyone else declares love to the world, Scorpio observes. They analyze the way you breathe when you're nervous. They notice the gleam in your eyes when you lie. They feel the energy you emit even when you don't say a word. Scorpio is the emotional detective of the Zodiac, and nothing escapes their penetrating eyes. Before giving their heart, Scorpio tests you in ways you can't even imagine. They create situations to see how you react. They pull away to see if you come after them. They provoke to discover how far your patience goes. And it's not because they want to play games with you. It's because they need absolute certainty that you won't betray them. Because for Scorpio, opening their heart is an act of extreme courage. It's removing the armor and showing the scars no one else sees. And when Scorpio finally decides to surrender, it's as if all the floodgates open at once. The intensity is overwhelming. They love you with a devotion that's frightening. They protect you as if you were the most precious thing in the universe. They desire you with a passion that burns, consumes, transforms. With Scorpio, you'll never wonder if you're loved, because you'll feel it in every look, every touch, every second of shared silence. But loving Scorpio requires emotional preparation, because they're not easy, they're not predictable, they're not light. Scorpio is the ocean in a storm, the volcano about to erupt, the phoenix that needs to die to be reborn. And the ideal match needs the courage to enter this whirlwind and not run away when things get too intense. So, which signs have this courage? Which souls are strong enough to dive into Scorpio's depths and not drown? Let's discover now the 3 signs that most connect with this living mystery of the Zodiac. First, we have Pisces, and this connection is simply magical. Pisces and Scorpio understand each other without needing words. It's as if they speak the same emotional language, a language only ancient souls know. Pisces has the sensitivity Scorpio needs. They don't judge Scorpio's shadows. They embrace them with infinite compassion. Pisces sees beyond the mask, beyond the hardness, beyond the coldness Scorpio shows the world. Between Scorpio and Pisces, there's an emotional telepathy. They feel what the other is feeling even at a distance. When Scorpio is silent, Pisces knows exactly what's happening inside. And when Pisces gets lost in their daydreams, Scorpio is the anchor that brings them back to reality. Together they create a private universe full of mystery, spirituality, and absolute surrender. But there's a danger in this relationship. Pisces can get lost in Scorpio's magnetic force. They can dissolve so much in the other's intensity that they forget themselves. And when this happens, the relationship stops being a dance and becomes a dependency. Pisces needs to keep their own light burning, their Auron essence alive. Because Scorpio doesn't want a reflection, they want an equal who walks beside them, not someone who fades in their shadow. Now, let's talk about Cancer. And here we have one of the most emotional connections in the Zodiac. Cancer offers Scorpio something they rarely find: an emotional home, a place where they can lower their guard, remove their armor, and simply be. Cancer understands Scorpio's internal storms because they have their own. Both are water signs. Both feel everything with a depth few comprehend. Cancer nurtures Scorpio in a way that calms their restless soul. They offer warmth, protection, unconditional care. And Scorpio, in return, protects Cancer with fierce loyalty. Together they create a fortified emotional castle, a refuge only they can enter. It's a relationship of pure instinct, where words are often unnecessary because feelings speak louder. But when jealousy enters the scene, the story changes completely. Because both Scorpio and Cancer are possessive, both want absolute certainty that they're loved. And when insecurity knocks on the door, they can hurt each other in devastating ways. Scorpio with their sharp venom, Cancer with their emotional claws. And what was protection becomes prison. What was love becomes control. That's why this relationship only works when both learn to truly trust, to give each other space without losing the connection. And finally, we arrive at Capricorn. And this is a combination that surprises many people, because apparently Capricorn and Scorpio are very different. One is earth, the other is water. One is practical, the other is emotional. But there's something powerful that unites them. respect for intensity. Capricorn isn't afraid of Scorpio's depth. In fact, they admire it. Because Capricorn is also a sign that doesn't mess around. They take life seriously, take love seriously, take commitment seriously. And this deeply enchants Scorpio. Because finally they found someone who doesn't run when things get heavy. Someone who stays and builds together, even when the storm is strong. Between them, love is silent, but solid. It's not that explosive passion that shouts to the world. It's a discreet, deep love that grows slowly, but creates roots impossible to uproot. Capricorn offers Scorpio the stability they secretly desire, and Scorpio offers Capricorn the emotional intensity they never knew they needed. Capricorn understands the power of silence. They don't need romantic words all the time. They show love through actions, presence, joint construction, and this calms Scorpio's distrustful soul. Because finally they realize they don't need to test all the time. Capricorn is there, firm as a mountain, and isn't going anywhere. But even with all this strength, none of these three is Scorpio's ideal match. They're powerful connections, yes. Relationships that can last a lifetime, yes. But the perfect match, the one designed by the universe especially for Scorpio, is still to come. And when you discover who it is, you'll understand why the cosmos works in such a mysterious and perfect way. But not everything in Scorpio's love universe is harmony and deep connection. There are signs that, no matter how magnetic the attraction, no matter how explosive the chemistry, end up awakening the darkest, most destructive, and most dangerous side of Scorpio. And when this happens, love becomes a battlefield. Passion becomes war, and no one comes out unscathed. These are the relationships that teach the hardest lessons, the relationships that mark you forever, those that, even when they end, leave scars that never completely disappear. Because with these signs, Scorpio doesn't just love, they confront their own internal demons, and they're not always prepared for what they find. Let's start with Leo. And brace yourself, because when Scorpio and Leo meet, the entire universe trembles. This is the most explosive, most intense, most dangerous combination in the Zodiac. Two titans, two rulers, two signs born to dominate, to control, to command. And when they cross paths, neither wants to bow. The attraction between Scorpio and Leo is instant and overwhelming. Leo shines with a light that hypnotizes Scorpio. And Scorpio emanates a mystery that fascinates Leo like nothing else can. In the first moments, it's pure magic. It's fire meeting water and creating steam. It's power recognizing power. They look at each other and immediately know they've found their match. But the problem begins when both want to lead the dance. Leo needs to be admired, needs to shine, needs to feel they're the center of attention. And Scorpio doesn't like spotlights, but demands total control behind the scenes. They want to be the invisible force that moves everything. And when Leo realizes Scorpio is pulling the strings in silence, the leonine ego roars. And then the war begins. Leo attacks with wounded pride, with words that burn like fire. Scorpio counterattacks with calculated coldness, with silences that cut deeper than any scream. Leo wants attention. Scorpio withdraws all energy. Leo threatens to leave. Scorpio opens the door and waits. And in this power game, both slowly destroy each other, because neither can admit they need the other. The biggest problem with this relationship is that both are too proud to apologize. Leo doesn't bow. Scorpio doesn't forget. And what could have been an empire built by two becomes a field of ruins, where only the memory of what could have been remains. But even after the end, neither Leo nor Scorpio can completely forget each other, because the intensity of this encounter marks the soul in a way no other love can erase. Now let's talk about Aquarius, and here we have a completely different dynamic, but equally devastating. If with Leo the war was of egos, with Aquarius the battle is between control and freedom, between closeness and distance, between feeling everything and feeling nothing. Scorpio is fascinated by Aquarius precisely because they are everything Scorpio is not. Aquarius is detached, rational, free as the wind. They don't attach to anyone, don't let themselves be dominated by emotions, don't need anyone to be happy. And this deeply intrigues Scorpio. How can someone live like this? How can someone not need emotional intensity to feel alive? At first, Scorpio accepts the challenge. They want to conquer the unconquerable, want to make Aquarius feel what they feel, want to trap that free spirit inside their deep emotional world. And Aquarius, curious as always, allows themselves to experiment. Because for them, Scorpio is a fascinating mystery, a complex psychology they want to study. But soon Scorpio realizes that Aquarius doesn't attach. No matter how much they give, no matter how much they show love, Aquarius always keeps a part of themselves untouchable, always maintains an emotional distance that drives Scorpio crazy. And the more Scorpio tries to get close, the more Aquarius pulls away. Because Aquarius feels claustrophobic in intensity. They need space to breathe, freedom to exist. And Scorpio interprets this as rejection, as lack of love, as emotional betrayal. Because for Scorpio, true love is total fusion. It's being present all the time. It's prioritizing the relationship above everything. And when Aquarius goes out with friends, when they disconnect for days, when they seem more interested in their social causes than in the relationship, Scorpio feels they're being sidelined. Scorpio's jealousy begins to suffocate Aquarius. And the more trapped Aquarius feels, the more they want to escape. Until one day, they simply disappear. Without drama, without deep explanations, Aquarius just moves on, as if all that intensity never existed. And Scorpio is left alone, trying to understand how someone can love and at the same time be so distant. This is a painful but necessary lesson, because it teaches Scorpio that not everyone loves the same way, and that trying to control the uncontrollable only brings suffering. And finally, we arrive at Gemini. And if you think Aquarius is already complicated for Scorpio, brace yourself, because Gemini is the sign that most confuses, most destabilizes, most drives Scorpio crazy. And the worst part, the attraction between them is impossible to ignore. Gemini has something Scorpio rarely finds: total unpredictability. Scorpio is used to reading people like open books. But Gemini is several books at once, in different languages, with alternative endings. Today they're one way, tomorrow completely different. Today they're in love, tomorrow they're distant. Today they promise eternity, tomorrow they don't even reply to messages. And this leaves Scorpio completely lost, because Scorpio needs consistency, needs depth, needs to feel the person is truly present, not just passing through. But Gemini lives on the surface of things. They don't like diving too deep, because they're afraid of drowning in heavy emotions. They prefer to keep everything light, fun, without commitments that imprison their mutable nature. Scorpio tries to hold Gemini with intensity, but Gemini slips through their fingers like smoke. The more Scorpio tightens, the more Gemini disappears. And when Scorpio finally gives up and pulls away, Gemini comes running back, full of beautiful words and promises that last only until the next distraction appears. This back-and-forth game destroys Scorpio inside, because they find themselves doing things they never imagined doing, begging for attention, accepting crumbs of affection, forgiving repeated lies. And in the end, when Scorpio finally wakes up and realizes Gemini will never offer the depth they need, the relationship ends, leaving Scorpio exhausted, disillusioned, and questioning their own worth. But all these painful experiences have a purpose. Leo teaches Scorpio about pride and flexibility. Aquarius teaches about freedom and detachment. Gemini teaches about consistency and self-worth. And all these lessons prepare Scorpio to recognize when they finally meet the right person. The one who doesn't awaken their shadow, but illuminates their light. The one who doesn't destroy them, but transforms them in the most beautiful way possible. And that person exists. The ideal match is out there, and you're about to discover who it is. And now, the moment you've been waiting for has arrived, the moment of truth. After analyzing all possible connections, after exploring the depths of harmonious relationships and the storms of destructive ones, it's time to reveal the secret the universe saved, especially for Scorpio. There's a sign cosmically designed to be Scorpio's perfect mirror, a sign that complements them in a way no other can. And the answer might surprise you, might shock you, might even make you question everything you knew about astrological compatibility. Because Scorpio's ideal match isn't the one who thinks alike, feels alike, acts alike. Scorpio's ideal match is their complete opposite in the Zodiac. It's the one standing exactly on the opposite side of the astrological wheel, looking at Scorpio face to face, without fear, without looking away. Scorpio's ideal match is Taurus. Yes, Taurus. And before you say it's impossible, that water and earth don't mix, that they're completely different, let me explain why this is the most powerful, most transformative, and most destined combination in the entire Zodiac. Taurus and Scorpio are complementary opposites. They face each other in the astrological mandala, connected by an invisible axis that attracts them like magnets impossible to separate. And opposites, in astrology, don't mean incompatibility. Opposites mean completeness. They mean one has exactly what the other needs to learn, integrate, embrace. Scorpio is deep water, intense emotion, constant transformation. Taurus is solid earth, unwavering stability, lasting construction. Scorpio destroys, to rebuild. Taurus builds, so nothing will be destroyed. Scorpio dives into chaos to find meaning. Taurus creates order so meaning can be preserved. See how they balance each other perfectly. When Scorpio meets Taurus, something magical happens. For the first time in their life, Scorpio feels they can completely trust. Because Taurus isn't volatile like Gemini, isn't distant like Aquarius, isn't proud like Leo. Taurus is firm as a mountain. When they say they'll stay, they stay. When they promise loyalty, it's loyalty until the end. And this calms Scorpio's distrustful soul in a way no other sign can. Taurus offers Scorpio something precious, emotional security. Not the superficial security of beautiful words, but the real security of consistent actions. Taurus doesn't run when Scorpio dives into their shadows. They stay there, solid, present, patiently waiting for Scorpio to finish their internal process. And when Scorpio finally emerges, transformed once again, Taurus is exactly where they've always been, waiting, loving, sustaining. And what does Scorpio offer Taurus? Scorpio teaches Taurus to truly feel, because Taurus, as sensual as they are, is afraid of emotional depths. They prefer to stay on the safe surface where everything is controllable, predictable, stable. But Scorpio doesn't allow this. Scorpio takes Taurus by the hand and leads them to deeper waters, teaching that life's true intensity is exactly where Taurus is afraid to go. With Scorpio, Taurus learns that not everything needs to be predictable to be beautiful. They learn that transformation isn't the enemy of stability, but its natural evolution. They learn they can trust life's invisible processes, that not everything needs to be touched and seen to be real. And this is a revolutionary lesson for Taurus, who lives in a world of concreteness and matter. The physical attraction between Scorpio and Taurus is legendary. Both are extremely sensual signs who understand body language almost telepathically. When they touch, it's not just skin meeting skin. It's soul recognizing soul. It's a fusion that happens on all levels, physical, emotional, spiritual. And neither forgets this for the rest of their lives. But not everything is roses in this relationship, because both Scorpio and Taurus are incredibly stubborn. When they disagree, neither wants to yield. Scorpio with their relentless emotional intensity, Taurus with their legendary stubbornness, and then begin the impasses that can last days, weeks, even months, if neither decides to give in. Jealousy can also be a serious problem. Both are possessive by nature. Scorpio wants total emotional control. Taurus wants guaranteed material and effective security, and when insecurity strikes, both can become suffocating to each other. Scorpio with their silent investigations, Taurus with their declared possessiveness. But here's the secret. When Scorpio and Taurus learn to truly trust, when they understand that each other's loyalty is unshakable, they become an invincible couple, because Scorpio protects Taurus from all emotional and energetic threats, and Taurus protects Scorpio from all material and practical instabilities. Together, they create an empire that nothing and no one can destroy. Taurus gives Scorpio the solid foundation they need to dive even deeper into their transformations, and Scorpio gives Taurus the emotional depth they need to not become just an empty material existence. One sustains the other in ways that seem to have been planned by the universe itself. And even when they try to separate, even when both their stubbornness creates seemingly insurmountable walls, the magnetism between them is so strong, they always find a way back. Because Taurus and Scorpio aren't just compatible, they're destined. They're two halves of a cosmic whole that only makes sense when together. But there's something even deeper in this story. Something that goes beyond astrological compatibility, beyond chemistry, beyond magnetic attraction. There's a karmic lesson Scorpio came to learn in this life, and this lesson is essential for their evolution as a soul. Every relationship Scorpio lives is a portal of transformation. Every love, every pain, every surrender is a ritual of death and rebirth. Scorpio doesn't love to be happy in the superficial sense of the word. Scorpio loves to evolve, to heal, to become a higher version of themselves, and the universe knows this. That's why it places exactly the experiences Scorpio needs to grow in their path. But the great lesson Scorpio needs to learn is this: control is not love, and true love only exists when there's freedom. Scorpio is so afraid of being betrayed, so afraid of losing control, so afraid of surrendering and then being abandoned, that often they suffocate the very love they so desire. They investigate, distrust, test, trap, and all this comes from fear. Fear of not being enough, fear of being discarded, fear of feeling again the piercing pain of betrayal. But the universe whispers to Scorpio, if you trap what you love, you kill what you love. True love needs space to breathe, trust to flourish, freedom to choose to stay every day. When Scorpio finally understands this, when they finally let go and allow love to flow naturally, without control, without fear, without manipulation, something miraculous happens. They discover they don't need to trap anyone to be loved. They discover that their intensity, when channeled with maturity, is a rare gift few are lucky enough to receive. And it's in this moment of surrender, of full trust, that the universe finally delivers to Scorpio what they've always sought: a loyal, deep, transformative, and eternal love. A love that doesn't need chains because it chooses to stay of its own free will. A love that doesn't flee from your shadows, but walks side by side with you through them. This is Scorpio's cosmic reward. When they learn to love without possessing, when they understand that transformation isn't destruction, when they integrate their light and shadow in perfect balance, they become the most powerful version of themselves. And in this state of grace, they attract exactly the kind of love they always deserved. Because Scorpio wasn't made for mediocre loves. They weren't made for superficial relationships, for passing connections, for passions that burn fast and extinguish even faster. Scorpio was made for epic love, for absolute surrender, for mutual transformation that elevates both souls to a higher plane of existence. And when they find this love, usually in the form of Taurus, but sometimes in any soul brave enough to dive into their deep waters, Scorpio finally understands why they went through all those pains, all those betrayals, all those dark nights of the soul. It was all preparation. It was all learning. It was all necessary so they'd be ready to receive and offer true love. And there it is, the truth about Scorpio's ideal match finally revealed. Taurus, the sign that balances, sustains, transforms together. But Scorpio's journey doesn't end here. Actually, it's just beginning. Because now that you know the light, it's time to know the shadow. You discovered today who's capable of loving Scorpio in the deepest and most transformative way possible. But there's another side to this story that needs to be told. A dark, painful, devastating side. There's a sign that, despite all magnetic attraction, despite all explosive chemistry, has the power to break Scorpio's heart in a way no other can. A sign that enters Scorpio's life like a storm and leaves only emotional wreckage behind. A sign that awakens Scorpio's deepest vulnerability, the one they hide from everyone. A sign that teaches the most painful lessons, but also the most necessary for the Scorpionic soul's evolution. And in the next episode, we'll reveal exactly who this sign is. We'll dive into the depths of this destructive connection. We'll understand why, even knowing it will hurt, Scorpio can't resist. And we'll discover the karmic lesson hidden behind this pain. If you're a Scorpio, prepare your heart. If you love a Scorpio, prepare to understand their deepest wounds. And if you're the sign that breaks Scorpio's heart, prepare to discover truths you may have never realized. But before you go, I need to know, are you a Scorpio's love or the reason for their pain? Leave it in the comments. Tell your story. Share your experience. Because every experience with Scorpio is unique, intense, and unforgettable. And if this video touched your soul, if you recognized your own story here, don't let this energy fade. Hit that like button now. This simple gesture helps this content reach more people who need to understand the complexity of Scorpionic love. Every like is a way of saying, I saw, I felt, I understood. And if you want to continue this journey through the universe of signs, if you want to unveil the deepest mysteries of the Zodiac, subscribe to the channel now and activate the notification bell. Because every week we bring content that goes beyond superficial astrology. Here, we dive deep. We touch the wounds, the scars, the truths no one dares to speak. Share this video with that Scorpio friend who needs to understand their own intensity. Send it to that person who's always complaining that Scorpio is too complicated. Because after this video, they'll finally understand that Scorpio isn't complicated. Scorpio is deep. And only those who have the courage to dive can discover the treasure hidden in the darkest waters. See you in the next episode. And prepare yourself, because what's coming will give your soul chills. The truth about the sign that breaks Scorpio's heart is about to be revealed, and it's more intense than you imagine. Until then, may the stars illuminate your path. And remember, in the end, every love lived by Scorpio is a step toward their own transformation. Because Scorpio doesn't love to be happy, Scorpio loves to be reborn. And each rebirth makes them stronger, wiser, more complete. Thank you for watching until the end. Your presence here means a lot. And now, go live your intensity. Go love with depth. Go be the most powerful version of yourself. Because that's exactly what Scorpio teaches the world. That truly loving means having the courage to die and be reborn every day.